So I'll offer you all the response early. Is Jake Paul regular? No, I can express that with pretty certain trust in that proclamation, predominantly in light of the fact that, as you heard me notice, I know a ton of individuals he prepares with. And I have heard things. We are here with some stunning news in the realm of boxing. Seems like we won't be seeing that advertised up match between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. After all, why well clutch your seats, since it turns out Jake Paul tried good for something serious, pulls and steroids. No doubt you heard it right. And DMT stuff. And I lost that weight. And I said I don't have the foggiest idea what happened. I don't have the foggiest idea what happened. I said I will do this. Well, it's entertaining in light of the fact that you conversed with me on the digital broadcast before whenever you first came on. And you said I couldn't in fact work out, 'cause in the event that I figure out my self-image will get energized, yet I did this frog. And this frog, I said you got to do it. They said you need to do it. The amphibian let you know, the DMT let you know time to battle, need to do it. I lost the weight. Mike Tyson was truly investing the effort for this confrontation with Jake Paul. No joking, he was really forthright about his entire preparation strategy, laying everything out there for anyone's viewing pleasure. And let me let you know, it wasn't just about heading out to the rec center. Hard Tyson was going full scale in any event, avoiding the weed and remaining quiet about his hands for a strong 2.5 weeks. Well, that is some significant devotion. Not too far off, there's even this pic drifting around of him, hanging with Damon Elliott, looking all engaged, and decided you could simply tell he was in the zone preparing for what might have been the battle of the century. 2.5 weeks I haven't smoked, Tyson told the Damon Elliott show. And I haven't had intercourse for 2.5 weeks yet. Hella things don't generally go as arranged, right? And presently, with this sensation news about Jake Paul testing good for pulls and steroids, well, any reasonable person would agree the entire match has disintegrated. Thing is, his body creation has changed such a lot of his hazardousness, his power. And yes, that accompanies preparing and time. I find it extremely dubious that for reasons unknown at whatever point a medication test gets raised, for example, when fierceness needed that in the agreement, Jake Paul turns them down. So him extraordinary mentors, an extraordinary routine, yet certainly anabolics assume an exceptionally key part in that they permit him to prepare as hard as he does. They permit him to expand his power and speed. And obviously, when you consider those ideas, that is basically the recipe to win in a battle sport. Jake Paul's excursion in the boxing scene has been completely disputable. And this new disclosure has blended the much further the news that Jake Paul tried good for execution. Upgrading drugs has sent shockwaves through the boxing local area. Started when the deliberate enemy of doping affiliation directed irregular medication testing on both Jake Paul and his rival, the unbelievable Mike Tyson, in front of their profoundly expected session. The consequences of these tests, anyway, laid out a condemning picture for Jake Paul v's research facility, supposedly tracked down hints of PEDS in Paul's framework, provoking quick examination and back reaction for a warrior like Jake Paul, who has constructed his image on recklessness and swagger. The allegations of PED utilized struck a nerve in commonplace style. Paul denied the charges, excusing them as just created bits of hearsay intended to discolor his standing. Those folks are a lot of jokesters, Paul cheered in a now scandalous public interview. Those little knocks you had all over sort of caution me you wouldn't be happen to taking PEDS. Are you tune in if you have any desire to work in pardons right currently? I'm go on. I was pondering. I take a gander at your face and look sort of, sir, you had a few fury and acting all strange. You realize those are indications of the PEDS. I'm maddened. I'm not rankled at all. Are you taking PEDS? No, sir, not the least bit. No, sir, they couldn't get themselves away from a paper pack, not to mention dissect drug test results accurately. It's each of the a lot of ____. Unspotless, Paul focused on his sentiments regarding this situation, communicating his skepticism that the circumstance had spiraled into such a significant issue. This entire situation is ludicrous, Paul seethed in a genuine meeting. I mean, come on, we're discussing such a minuscule measure of this stuff that it's fundamentally similar to finding a needle in a roughage stack. It's unimportant, irrelevant. And it doesn't matter to anything. Paul's dissatisfaction was substantial as he kept on venting about what he saw as unreasonable treatment. Because of the boxing foundation, I feel like I'm being dealt with like some kind of guinea pig, he mourned. They're singling me out and investigating every single detail, all since they believe that need should create an object lesson using me. It's not right, man. It's simply not right. Yet even in that frame of mind of misfortune, Paul stayed disobedient, declining to withdraw or concede route. This presumably shouldn't have even been raised. He attested his dissatisfaction clear in each word. It's such a modest quantity that it makes no difference except for their making a huge deal about it. Since it's me, it's uncalled for, it's shameful. And I won't represent it yet. In spite of Jake Paul's endeavors to dismiss the charges, the proof against him kept on mounting. Reports arose enumerating the particular PEDS found in Paul's framework, further dissolving his believability and raising questions about the authenticity of his past triumphs in the ring. He's denying everything, asserting honesty and pointing fingers somewhere else. Normal, never taken a steroid. I don't have any idea where to get steroids. I scarcely take supplements. Large lies, Jake Paul proclaimed. And obviously, he was unable to oppose, tossing some shade at his rival, Mike T. They're doing this to save Mike, since I plan to hit him hard. Paul claimed it's a straightforward endeavor to move the fault and paint himself as the casualty in this, like you were all on your own. In the video, I mean, do you feel? Definitely, I don't believe he's quicker than me, right? How hard are you preparing? I train consistently. Okay, what amount of time a day you train require for its serious? Listen. Well, listen, it's the entire day. The cycle goes through the entire day. I get up toward the beginning of the day, accomplish the street work. Then I go to the exercise center at 1. Then I go to the strength and molding fellow. Then it starts from the very beginning. Once more yet, how about we be genuine here? Jake Paul's history isn't precisely clean as a whistle. He's become famous by pushing the limits and twisting the guidelines, so it's not precisely a stretch to envision him depending on PEDS to acquire an edge in the ring. As the debate arrived at a breaking point, V remained by its discoveries, demanding that the outcomes were exact and undeniable. We stand by our testing conventions and the respectability of our lab. A representative for VADA expressed solidly the presence of PEDS in Jake Paul's framework is evident, and it brings up difficult issues about the decency of his past battles. In spite of the mounting proof against him, Jake Paul stayed resistant, declining to recognize any bad behavior and multiplying down on his dissents. I don't care a lot what those purported specialists say. I worked like a dog to get where I'm today, and no one will remove that from me. These allegations are only a pitiable endeavor to cut me down, and I won't allow it to occur. As fresh insight about Jake Paul's good medication tests spread like quickly, the destiny of the battle remained in a critical state, eventually prompting its unexpected undoing for Mike Tyson. The news was difficult to accept. The unbelievable fighter had been preparing for what vowed to be a legendary standoff in the ring.